Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer Spoiler Log Tournament. Today we are featuring a match between zelgadissan and nobly, or is it nobly? I didn't check pronunciation. But I was going, folks. I am Wolfling0370, and joining me on the mic is Mercer. How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Excited for this one. Always love these spoiler races. I think this will be a pretty good match.
Right, so for those who may not be wondering about the spoiler logs here, we are in, of course, the first week of our Swiss bracket here. And basically, how this works is our runners have been going for about 13 minutes to 14 minutes here. You can see the timer ticking down for zelgadissan. They are currently equipped with a spoiler log, a roadmap to the entire seed. Every location, every sort of like farm location, like the bomb tree, like the poultry and like, all that information is right there at their disposal. Oh, and what they're going to be doing with that 15 minutes is they are making their own route, and they're going to execute the route for us here, so this race is heavily on the execution side. And on top of that, the normal randomizer rules don't apply here, in which you're not allowed to screen peek. They can watch us here on the restream, they can watch each other, try to figure out where they are.
Yeah, the roadmap you get is really, it's not so much Google Maps as it is something you bought at a gas station because you were desperate and it's like 1998 before GPS was a thing. You have to figure it out yourself from there.
Yeah, it's pretty much a list of everything that you can see. So it says, oh, this item is, say, at Sanctuary. Hey, I know to get that item. Or this item is all the way over in Pendant Turtle Rock. We're not going to touch that. And they can even see routing in heart pieces and armor and the like. So it gets really down to sort of like the safeties, really, is where it gets the risk and reward you'll see. How much do you think they can get away with?
It's very easy in a spoiler race to find yourself like walking into GT on 5 hearts and green mail if you're not careful.
Yeah.
And then you better be careful from there because otherwise you're going to go back to the start of GT.
And we're getting started here. Both runners are starting in Sanctuary. And getting the lamp.
And it looks like they're both heading in the same general direction over towards the Kakariko area or possibly Lost Woods.
Right. Now, folks, so you might notice down on the bottom of the screen here, we have the trackers here already filled up with some information. And our runners are not going to be doing a match at any point because this is one of the things the spoiler gives them. So our tracker, Dark Diplomat, is kind enough to already provide you the pendant and crystal information for the seed, as well as the required medallions for each dungeon entry. So today we have a Green Pendant Swamp, Pendant Skullwoods, Pendant Turtle Rock, and 5-6 in Thieves Town and Ice Palace.
Yeah, both our runners dropping into the well for some early bombs and such.
Piece of art there for Sogan-san, as well as a glove. Now I'm going to opt to get the mushroom as well.
May just be for menuing if that's not an item they need to turn in, or you might want it for fake powder safety later. You can fake powder just to get a fairy.
Alright, looks like both runners are going to be heading up top. Both runners are going up the mountain at this point with the old man in hand.
Yeah, spoiler sometimes makes it so you'll see both runners taking the same route, especially right at the start of a seed. And there may just be a path that's much better than the others to open. Not
Well,
always
we're
the
starting
case,
with the
but in this
well, we have the
case.
Moon Pearl as well, so there's that.
And we see both of them continuing onwards. There's only one more location they can get to right now inside of Spectacle Rock, so they are both heading there.
On top of Spectacle Rock, so that may be necessary. There's our Titansmith, so there's our Darkhold access. 4 minutes in, no hammer in sight. So I think
Yeah,
someone's gonna get off the mountain.
Dark World Access with 3 hearts and green mail and fire rod is the only weapon with no magic. I guess bombs as well. Seems very safe.
This does not sound good. But these runners know what they're doing.
Yeah, they seem to have hit on a very similar early route, it looks like.
Rupees there, very nice. And Zelda is getting the flute now. Pretty unfortunate spot for it. Flute being there, no mirror in sight.
And one of the few bits of real randomness once the seed is rolled up there for Nobly, it might actually make a difference in getting a single heart refill instead of that 100 rupees.
Nice little bounce there on the nose. Now be taking whatever advantage he can get in order to get around the overworld just that much faster. And gonna play the archer minigame. This is something that's a little bit technical to explain, but you can see that we have the curtains in their own little rungs. If you aim for the second curtain on the right, when the target passes over, you'll hit the target every single time when you're next to the guard like this, or the drummer like this. And it's just free money at that point.
Yeah, it's, that's about the same. They're now on exactly the same rupee count. In fact, it just costs Nobly like, 20 seconds there to stop and get it.
Yeah. Now, to add to that, as we get the Cadence Mario from Stumpy here for Nobly, that pattern does desync after a while, but for like the first 2 or 3 plays, as soon as you're out of the room, it's consistent.
Yeah, you'll see it quite frequently in inverted seeds and very rarely anywhere else.
There we go. Bow and hook shot.
It's decently hype, especially given that we had no other weapons that didn't require magic.
Look how the mountain we go.
And sure, every runner is thrilled with the idea that they'll make multiple mountain trips in the first 7 minutes of a seed.
Still have at least one more to go when we have to go up GT.
And not even bothering with anything in Paradox Cave, looks like just heading straight for Dark Death Mountain. think Nobly took an unfortunate death to some dead rocks. So I got us grabbing the full magic refill there, but none of the chests.
Yeah. Kind of a good spot to get it, actually.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny. And spoiler, and essentially only spoiler, will you watch people walk past the chest but grab the magic refill?
Oh, there's our first sword.
So we're getting armored or weaponed more up here with bow and sword and fire rod and all. Got a lot of good options for offense, but you're still on 3 hearts and green mail, so let's see where zelgadissan goes.
Mind. And something I actually forgot about until just now. I believe zelgadissan was actually a finalist in the first Spoiler Log Tournament.
I know he got quite deep into it. I don't remember the exact placement. But yes, he's very good at the game.
Check that, actually. We got some time here.
Looks like he's heading back into the dark world here. Okay, he is heading into Thieves Town here.
Okay. I did double check. zelgadissan was a quarterfinalist in the Spoiler Log Tournament before getting knocked out. The previous one.
Who'd you end up losing to? Was that PKR?
I believe it was PKR, yes.
I think I remember that match a little bit.
Yeah, I remember that match too. I just forget when it took place. Which makes me feel extra bad because I think I was on for that match for commentary.
Yeah, but we'll see if Nobly joins him here in Thieves Town, but it looks like going a different direction.
This is definitely some divergence we've got going on here. We do have a question in chat regarding the spoiler log, if they are allowed to continue to reference it if they after the fact. The short answer for that is yes. Actually, they are allowed to continue having it in case they need it, but they're not allowed to look at it until 15 minutes before the race begins.
Yeah, there's an automated countdown at that point for when they're allowed to start racing. They can continue looking at it as long as they want, and often will refer back to it for like key placement if they get time during a cutscene or whatever. But usually you would want to start running at that point, obviously, and not focus so much on the text document.
Let's go to the pyramid here for the hammer.
So yeah, there is one chest in Thieves Town that is hammer locked, the big chest. Could also just be Nobly's more comfortable doing like pod than Thieves Town on 3 hearts green mail.
understand that, actually. Flying on 3 hearts is scary.
Yeah, I mean, not that Almosaur with, I guess you can finish it with the bow and it's fine, but that's still kind of a scary fight with like Fighter Sword and 3 hearts and Green Mail. It's real easy for that to go wrong if you get juked by his tail or something.
Or get, as I've heard it called, being checkmated. Getting caught by the fireballs in such a way that the only way you can dodge is into the tail. Blind down, very textbook finish there. Blind with his map. And the first crystal in the match lit up 13 minutes in.
Yeah, no other items really of note out of Thieves Town for Zelgadis, but that crystal is required, of course.
His hammer is going to be taking it through Palace of Darkness here. Zelda looks to be on his way to get the hammer now as well.
Yeah, it just makes navigation of the world map a lot easier. There's never going to be a wonderful time to go get it.
Thing we should probably note here is that if there is something important in the big chest, and Zelgadissan knows this because of the spoiler log, Zelgadissan is committing that whatever item is in that big chest is not going to be part of the endgame strategy. Which it could just be 5 rubies for all chat knows right now. But I suspect Nobly with the hammer will full clear. Or at least get it if it is important.
I thought he was setting up for a hammer jump there for a moment.
Oh, there's Master Sword.
So Master Sword alone might make this route divergence worthwhile. Obviously, it doesn't make much of a difference on blind. It does make a little bit because the Master Sword has a longer reach than the Fighter Sword. But the damage difference doesn't matter on that fight. But it does make a difference for going through the dungeon.
Yeah, it does make a fair... It does at least make some of the early bosses in Dark World a little bit easier. If for no other reason, then you don't have to worry about doing spins hard required. But we need that Master Sword regardless to at least fight Ganon.
Yeah, we know one of the swords, other than the 2 we've already found, is mirror locked, being on top of Spectacle Rock. We could have a mirror not required seed with Swamp being a pendant.
Know where Quake is, and there is a chance that we can still have an item locked behind the mirror.
Oh, and there's the blue armor, so definitely some nice equipment upgrades here in Pod.
Yeah, Nobby's gonna take a Death Warp and get back to the front to fight Helmsor King. That armor upgrade will at least make a 3-heart helm a little bit safer, but not by much.
I don't remember the exact values of Almosaur's hits. I think that'll make a fireball not lethal, but it might not have been anyway.
Let's say Well, as long as you're careful, you should never get hit by Helmsley King. It's very easy to overreact to what he does.
Sure. Although I'm sure that there are some who would say, as long as you're careful and reactive enough, you would never get hit by any boss. I am not one of those people.
Neither am I, to be perfectly honest. Zelda now with the sword. Both stocking over rupees here. I wonder if they're thinking about buying a blue potion with that bottle they picked up. Or at least Nobly definitely picked it up. I'm not sure if Zelda will. These terrapins are very dangerous. Zelda does in fact pick up the bottle in the meantime.
Yeah, it's also going to go get the armor. Technically, they both could skip this, I guess, but you got to grab the big key right there, and armor is one of the best bang for your buck safeties in the entire game, especially if you have a low health pool.
I would get armor even if... Because here's the thing, with the out armor, I think Ganon deals 9 whole hearts of damage to you. So yeah, I wouldn't turn up armor if it's that free. Ooh.
That was a little bit of a tense position.
That was like pixel perfect there from Nobly, dodging Helmsley King like that. There we go. First crystal match for Nobly at 20 minutes in. Well done dodging that attack though when he had him pinned up against the wall.
Yeah, that was a bad moment because I'm pretty sure body contact with Helma, even with Blue Mel, would have still been lethal.
Yeah, probably would have been like 4 hearts of damage. Nobly is turning in the mushroom.
Yeah.
Now I think Nobly did that just for menuing.
It's kind of interesting because he picked it up, I thought, for menuing too. May have decided it was not worth it for that. Might also just be a heart piece or something in case he comes back later, but does have that blue potion now.
Yeah, going into Ice Palace, he's going to need it. I think Colster, if Helmsley King couldn't one-shot you on 3 hearts blue mail, Colster definitely can.
Yeah, you'll survive a hit from the falling ice. The blue potion will at least give you fire rod shots. This is still a kind of intense dungeon to dive at this point.
Looking to strike with his tail, but zelgadissan putting the final shot in him before he had the chance. Second crystal in the match now for Zelda, currently in the lead in terms of crystal count. And that's something we normally don't see. Nobly, knowing full well that was there, chose to get the big key out of Ice Palace, which was just right here in the Pingator room. Clearly setting up for icebreaker, which normally would skip the big key. And so you can go straight to the bottom. Must be something in the big chest based on that.
Yeah, it's the only real reason to get that. So I got to stopping by the sick kid and grabbing a piece of heart.
That does put Zelda up to 4. I'll be attempting icebreaker here. Not quite getting the position to set the block.
Yeah, he was good on the position the first couple of times, but the one frame input left, I think, was too long. That looks good.
Oh.
Our container in there is nice. It's pretty close to right on the way. It does have to walk to the left side of the room to grab that. Definitely won't complain.
Yep, we'll see if Navi's gonna go ahead and get it. Navi opting not to get the chest, but opens the big chest, and there's the mirror!
It's very nice to have, even if it may or may not be strictly required this seed.
Well, if nothing else, it does guarantee Nobly will have Tempered Sword later. Meanwhile, he did opt out of Freezor chest item. Let's see if zelgadissan does the same. And this is a very dangerous fight that Nobly is about to enter here. It is a... Oh, there's Bombos! That would have been great to have against Cold Stare, actually. Because Nobly cannot miss a Fire Rod shot. Opting to do Fire Rod Slash, and if any of those are double hits, we'll break the shield a little bit sooner, saving him some magic. Very nicely done.
Looks like. It does burn that blue potion in a kind of dangerous position right here, and uses the fire rod to get out of it. That is a late splash on that fire rod shot against the right wall, but clears it out.
And it's rewarded with a small key. So Samaria was a required item for this dungeon. Not that it mattered much. That was very early on this seed. Actually, no, that was Snubby. Never mind. But still fairly early on. Soga setting up for a corner trap. The splash knocks those puffballs out of the corner, but they only have a couple slashes left. Maybe one more hit.
Switches to the hammer. A few
Ooh,
more
that
hits
one
on this one got way early.
Alright.
So solid fights on both sides for those cold stares. That's a very dangerous fight.
Indeed. Now, where's Zelda gonna go next?
Nobly's clearly heading back towards Thieves Town now with a little more safety than Zelgadis had for it. also with the hammer. Zelgadis is heading towards the castle, looks like.
I need to check something. Oh, getting the cape. Ooh.
Another one on the list of items that are nice to have, but hardly mandatory. Unless, of course, Bumper Ledge is something.
I mean, the way this is shaping up, zelgadissan might be thinking silverless. In which case, the cape would be very much a nicety to have.
Yeah, as long as you go in with enough magic refills to be able to really use it. They do at least have the lamp to make that less of a disaster. But there's
It would
our
also
Quake
help against,
Medallion.
and as I was just going to mention, that would also help against Cold Stare, or not Cold Stare, I'm sorry, Vitreous. I'm getting my eye bosses backwards again. I really should have learned by now, after doing commentary for, what, 2 years now?
Yeah, but that Quake being there indicates that that mirror is required, as Quake is our entry into Mire.
Yep. What's our access to desert? Book's still out there, but we don't need it anymore because of the mirror. He's heading towards the basement. We'll see if he bothers getting the big chest.
And we're now over half an hour in, and still no boots for our runners, which in a spoiler log race usually means they're somewhere terrible.
Yeah, looks like it. Nobody's going to the big chest here. Alright, what does Zelda leave behind? Oh! That's telling!
Yeah, and it did get Zelda a little bit more of an efficient route for getting Thieves Town out of the way. This trip is costing not only some extra time, but silvers are very nice.
Yeah, this is looking to be tempered silverless versus tempered silvers for the Ganon fight. And Zelda will have the cave as a backup. But at the same time, Zelda also won't have the silvers for Vitreous, who is absolutely allergic to him. So Nobly could save a little bit of time there as well.
Yeah, can Cape Strat that as well. But no boots yet to really like use that.
I mean, the simple strat that Zelda will be doing is cape and spin. That's all there is to it.
It's not as much fun as silvers, but still fine.
Yeah. It will eat a little bit of time, but you don't want to die on a Vitreous fight. Or a Cold Stare fight, for that matter.
Yeah, I used to think Cold Stare was definitely the worst boss to die to in terms of time loss. It's still up there, but with Icebreaker, it's not as bad as it used to be. So Vitreous or Helmasaur actually might be close. That's not counting the total disaster that would be a death to Agatu if anybody ever did that.
Period is bad. Either tower is about a 2-minute loss. I think the only one that would be bad is Turtle Rock if you didn't go through any of the alternate exits of the dungeon.
Yeah, that one can be a disaster, but at that point it's just punishment for your hubris.
Now we're gonna opt to take care of Eastern Palace with the silver arrows. Actually, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We know where... I think Zelga's in go mode. Yeah? There's no other items that we need other than big keys for Zelga.
Yeah, theoretically, it's possible that we need boots in GT, but it's the usual, strangers go mode. Except, of course, Zelgadis already knows whether he needs boots or not.
Nobly, meanwhile, does know where Quake is with the spoiler log, so we'll be picking that up. Probably is gonna tie... Yeah, it's 3 dungeons to 2 right now. So Nobly's about...
4 to 3, right?
Yeah. I'm not counting Hera because that's a moot point. They're both gonna do Hera at the end. Before ending into GT.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think Zelgadis is ahead, but I'm not sure it's really on the routing. I think Zelgadis has just moved better through dungeons.
Yeah, but Navi's gonna have a lot more... Gonna have a lot of faster fights with, the one-shot the Armos Knights, one-shot Lammolas, and just absolutely shred Vitreous. Not to mention, we'll be able to have a much faster Ganon fight in Phase 4. Those all might factor into this.
Yeah, there's room to catch up, but I do think right now Zelgadis is a little ahead.
Yeah, Zelda has the lead for the time being. But it's a little too hard to tell just how much of an advantage Zelda has to Nobly's Silver Arrow advantage. And both are going to get Tempered Sword on Spectacle Rock Cave. There's no doubt in my mind that they're not going to pick that up on their way to GT.
Yeah, unless the other sword is just along the path in an even easier location. In which case, you probably don't bother going for the gold sword. Nice spin strats, does have to use some arrows to finish it.
This is down for zelgadissan. 2 dungeons remain. Nobly, meanwhile, very quick execution of the Armos Knights. 3 dungeons remain for Nobly. It's a 1 dungeon lead to zelgadissan at this point, but 2 of those dungeons Nobly will be able to do back to back. They have the trade locations at this point, and then it's to climb to Hera. Based on what we see here, it's going to be a quick outing for zelgadissan, so Zelgadissan is in the lead for the short term, but we'll see if those silver arrows make up for any sort of time difference.
Yeah, it is going to cost 45 seconds or so to go grab Quake as well.
Zelgadissan now entering Eastern Palace. There's the Quake Medallion. Nobly is now in go mode.
And not even a dip into any of our pendants necessary today, which is extra nice when one of those is Turtle Rock. Usually that one makes you go inside.
Yeah, that is a very nice scene in terms of pendant dungeons. No Aghanim, no pendants. But no boots! Which is just as annoying.
Yeah,
Maybe
the
to be
flute
honest.
was pretty early.
Yeah, flute's pretty early, but you just don't want to dash through the dungeons. Make them go a little faster.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure both of them are very tired of walking right now.
Yeah, they're gonna need some new shoes after this. Because those boots came so late.
It is extra sad that they vanilla don't give it the boots to you for Eastern, which is one of the dungeons where they are extra nice. Lots of long straight corridors with not much happening in them, for that matter.
I don't think either one is gonna go out of the way for Sahasra to see, with the Swamp Palace being the green pendant.
No.
Kind of a shame, because there is actually something kind of nice there.
Yeah, but it's not nearly as nice as not walking into Swamp Palace.
Yeah. And in case chat's curiosity is piqued, half magic is on Sahasra though. No one's gonna be getting it. Alright.
And we'll see how this fight goes. Because I've got it's a little bit, not super hard or anything, but a little bit harder to execute with the non-silver arrows.
I do believe we've got to... Oh! Walked into the last Armos statue that unfortunately gave him just enough time to recover his health and get to his red phase.
Yeah, the extra arrow use might be more annoying than the couple of seconds at this point. Well, probably going to have to be a little careful on one heart heading into Mire Basement, or going to just chug this blue potion, which is totally fair.
Play it safe, I'd say.
Yeah, the
Zelda's on
Vitreous fight won't be too dangerous once there. You just need to get there without dying.
Yeah, Zelda meanwhile is on 6 hearts blue. I think that's just barely enough to survive a Ganon hug.
Not sure with Blue Mail.
I'm not sure either. I know it's 9 hearts of green. Zoga might be able to survive getting hit by a fireball for sure.
Oh, yeah. Even in green, I think you wouldn't die to the fire bats. In one shot. Two, that's a different story.
Sword.
So, yep, I'm just gonna go ahead and do Hera before portaling over instead of using the mirror. Save a couple of Dark World transitions.
This is the last dungeon. And unfortunately, Chad, there is a game we'd like to play, but we're not going to be running the bot. Because they know where it is. We'll get to it a little bit later, though, because I do put a twist on it all the same.
And there goes Vitreous.
Right. Here comes Moldorm. One spin and a slash is all Zelda needs to win in the fight here to claim the last crystal. And there it is. Very clean. And another map on a boss. Alright, 7 crystals have been claimed by zelgadissan, able to enter Ganon's tower now. And you know what that means, folks? We have a game we like to play, but I'm putting a twist on it. We have 22 chests in Ganon's tower, only one of which contain the big key. But the runners know which chest it's in. So instead of giving us a number in chat, give us the specific chest you think the Ganon's tower big key is in today. Because our runners are probably going to open that first, regardless.
And since Zelda took this route up the mountain, you get more than the like 7 seconds you would get if all he had was the mirror back in the cutscene.
Nobly's on his way to Desert and the Lamb Moles in the meantime. Zelda's on his way to Ganon's castle.
Personally, I'm going to guess that the big key is in the big chest.
Key in the big chest? Unlikely. Alright, Ganon's tower is now open. Let's see if you guys guessed right. Starting off with Hope Room.
So,
And there it is. Big key immediately. And a small key. It's a God GT.
but he is using that key to go to the other side with that door that is never opened. Also, we have had some audio desync throughout, which just lined up beautifully because we got the sounds of Zelgadis using the hammer on the Turtle Rock portal exactly in time with Nobly shooting the landmote with silver arrows.
Nice. And there we go, folks. The boots were in GT. Zelda opted to pick them up, just have a little bit of a sprint up the tower.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure which way that getting those goes on time, if it's going to save time or cost time. I don't think it makes a huge difference either way, but, you know, at least you get them.
Yeah, I agree. It's not going to make that much of a difference, I'd say. Maybe about a minute at most. Just climbing the tower a little faster.
I don't think boots make a minute of difference in the tower. But, yeah, I mean, it's nice to have. It probably makes the movement a little more natural.
Yeah.
Because you practice this more with boots than without.
Man, how long has this been since we've seen a God GT?
Feels kind of sad to waste one of those on a spoiler race when it could be in a normal seed just to punish the Dark Magician routers.
Yeah, kind of. At the same time, though, I can't really complain about it because it's a nicety to the seed after the horrible mess that was getting the hammer. You had to get your Dark World access, go all the way around the Hype Cave to get the hook shot, go up the Death Mountain for the second time, because the first time you had to go and get the Moon Pearl, to get the the Flippers had a hookshot cave, and then go all the way back around beyond Hype Cave again, or swim across the northern side, I suppose, to get to the pyramid where the hammer was. Like, it was the most roundabout Dark World navigation you could have done in order to get that hammer. I'm actually gonna be honest with myself here. If I actually known how to do the current jump, which I don't have it down pat, I think the first thing I'd have done when I got to Dark World is do that. Get the hammer, then tread south to Hive Cave to get the hook shot that way. And just completely ignore the flippers to see, because all we need them for... Well, no, I guess the flippers were required to get Quake now, weren't they?
More or less, I think there are setups that can work even without boots to get that, but I couldn't swear to it. I don't know all of it, which is a little
Yeah,
bit
they'd
of
have to get
trouble
the flippers regardless. That was probably the better routing that they
getting
did.
to GT. But gets their own 1 heart. Gonna be joining
Red mail.
Zelgadissan here. You won't object to that.
Alright, now with 6 hearts, red mail, I think Zelda can survive 1 contact damage hug from Ganon. I think at minimum it gets reduced to 5.
Well, except, you know, there's a 6th heart, but it's empty. Unless there's a, you know, Sank heart happens to be hanging out here in this last chest. I don't remember if Zelgada still has a potion. I'll try to watch the next time that he menus.
Two happening right now. Nice double for the first 2 hits. Looks to be another double here. If... Oh, he shot a blue shot, but the... Nice! Triple double. For Zelgadissan, it is now time for Zelda to fight the pig. Tempered sword in hand, it will be 12 slashes or 6 spins in the first 2 phases. Afterwards, a single slash 4 times after Ganon stops teleporting. And then Zelda will enter phase 4, the darkness technique. Keep the torches lit, and because Zelda lacks the silver arrows, Zelda will have to do 12 spins as Ganon teleports away. It's a 2-frame window, so spin attacks will have the longest hitbox duration, which makes it all the more consistent to hit with.
And meanwhile, Nobly skipped out on getting the boots and is going to be walking up the tower.
No! Oh, he did. Huh. I thought Nobly picked them up. My mistake. Folks, you might not be wondering what is the 2-frame window, how do you see it? It's kind of a knowing, it's pretty much a sort of like feel it out. I noticed there is a minor visual tell that you may be able to pick up on the restream, but it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
But as Ganon teleports away, you may see his sprite raise his arms up before he actually teleports. That's the 2-frame window.
The spins make that much easier to hit than trying to do slashes. Technically, you could do 24 tempered sword slashes instead, but why?
We're in Ganon's tower in the Dark Magician room. And there we go, Zelgadissan with 12 well-executed spins here. An excellent silverless Ganon fight. I will be winning this race here in the spoiler log. We'll be going 1-0 in Swiss.
It was very nicely run throughout.
And Zelgadissan is finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, 15 seconds. And if that looks weird to you folks, keep in mind that there was the 15-minute study time in IRC, so this actual finish time is 1 hour, is 52 minutes, 15 seconds. Rather. Oh, done by zelgadissan here. Great silverless fight. Nobly now going up of the tower on the Wizard of Floors. That hammer placement, though. That hammer placement was just absolutely terrible at this scene. Let's all be honest here.
Yeah, but I think the seed was pretty kind otherwise. Well, that and boots. We'll see what our runners have to say and if they agree with me or not.
We do have zelgadissan here in the chat, at least.
Nice Moldarm 2 fight there. So just the two bosses left here.
Go ahead and see if Zelda wants to interview you. Looks like they do. zelgadissan, thank you for joining us here in the booth, and congratulations on the win.
Hey, GG's. Thank you very much.
Nobly, meanwhile, is entering Ega 2 here. So, let's just get this out of the way. The hammer placement of the sea was absolute garbage.
Yeah, I spent way too long during the study period trying to decide if I wanted to just kern jump it and get the hammer, or if I wanted to just go up the mountain and get the flippers first and the hook and do it in logic. I needed the flippers anyway. Realistically, for Hylia Island, I know it can be sequence broken without the boots, but I honestly don't know. Like, I'm not practiced with it at all. So I figured I'll just do it in logic. And there was a sword in Hookshot Cave, so I figured that would also help for doing Pod or Ice Palace, which would be the two next obvious plays. So the hammer was very gross, and it's why I skipped the silver arrows as well. It's just because the hammer was so out of the way.
Nobly, meanwhile, decided to opt to get the silver arrows instead, and going straight for the hammer.
And he's going to use them here in a moment as he drops down into the Ganon fight.
In retrospect, I probably should have gone ahead and got them and just did Thieves Town later. I really liked the idea of just never going back to the village after I activate the flute, but at the same time, with the flute, it's so fast, I think I should have got the silvers, and that would have saved me so much time on Vitreous alone, just because I wouldn't have got the cape if I had the silver arrows.
Yeah, actually, about the cape, did you get that for a safety for Ganon or and Vitreous?
Solely for Vitreous.
Solely for Vitreous. Oh!
Intending to... I see.
Yeah, Nobly unfortunately died on Ganon. And I'll go and explain this real quick for those folks who are not aware. The fights are seeded for the first instance of Ganon and both Aghanim, so the runners have the same logic. Because Nobly has died now, he's going to have a different teleport pattern on phase 3.
Yeah, so one thing, my route actually got altered mid-race because I got money from the chest game whenever I was getting the flute. And it actually kind of ruined what I had planned, because I was going to get Berna and a piece of heart from Paradox Cave, as well as some money for Pod while I was up there. But once I had the money, I no longer had a reason to get Berna, and Berna was going to be my safety for Vitreous. So I kind of had to go through the logs trying to find where the cape was. I knew I had seen it somewhere convenient, so it really actually ended up screwing my routing by getting extra money.
That's kind of interesting. So Nobly actually did not got a single heart refill off that and ended up doing the archery game to get the money that you got there to get into pod.
Phase 4 Ganon using the silver arrows. 4 shots of the silver arrows after stunning Ganon, and that is GG for Nobly. No more hit. He was maybe about a second away from getting a fire bat to the face. But GG's to Nobly. Very strong finish here. We'll be going 0-1 in Swiss. Still has a chance to come back into the playoff session. But that is Nobly finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 13 minutes, 32 seconds. Again, that is taking study period into account, so the actual finish time is what you see on screen, 58 minutes and 32 seconds.
Very nice.
Looks like Nobly is going to be joining us for an interview as well. Nobly, welcome, and GG to you as well. Oh, good race.
GG, Zelda.
Yeah, GG. This was a fun race.
Now, we were mentioning the Zelda, and I want your idea on this as well. Terrible boots, terrible hammer. Let's just get that out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't even get the boots.
Yeah, I read wrong on the spoiler and like, oh yes, it's top left. Okay, let's do that in Death Warp. And I was like, oh, that was a rupee. Why?
It was actually top left. It was actually that room, but it was on the top right.
Yeah, I read the top left and Death Warp, and I was like, I'm not going back.
And neither of you are going to get the half magic either, which I didn't divulge was on Sahasrara. And Nobly, I'm going to ask this of you. You decided to fight Coldstare without Bombos.
Yeah.
Did you, when in your note-taking or your study period, did you note where Bombos was?
It wasn't required, so I didn't care.
It was on the way to Coldstare, actually.
Oh, yeah, well, I did.
It was in the freeze door chest.
Oh, yeah. Well, waste magic to save magic on Coldstare. I'll save magic on Coldstare anyway with my sword beam still.
Yeah, and you did do that to great effect as well.
Unfortunately, I had to waste my potion there, but... I mean, the thing I lost on was my trip to Hookshot Cave. Dying on the right side, that cost me some time.
Ooh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, and my 2 trips to the potion shop, because I don't think Zelda went too much to the potion shop.
I went once. I got the bottle from Pod, and I filled it before ice, but I never had to use it.
Yeah, I took 1 damage on ice, and I was like, okay, I'll just fill up my magic and just make it easy. Because I had full magic going in, and I think I hit 2 or 3 sword beams on the shell. So I had like a couple of fire road shots left. Which is a really hard trick to pull off, in my opinion. That's...
Yeah, you basically have to hit the slash hit. You're basically trying to overlap the hitboxes so it registers 2 fire rod hits instead of a fire rod hit and a slash.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, the seed was very low percent though.
Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't have any health.
Yeah, that was the thing. All the heart containers were awful. And shoutouts to Nobly. I routed in pieces of heart because I didn't feel comfortable, and this guy just nails it on 5 hearts because just getting 2 hearts from convenient stuff on the path. I didn't feel comfortable with that. I had to go out of my way, so that's impressive.
I will go 3 hearts if there's no heart containers on the way, to be fair. I do not go out of my way to pick up hearts. Never. I will go as low as possible. Especially without boots.
Well, GG's, you both survived your first week of Swiss. You both are still in this. Although it's going to be a little bit harder for you, Nobly. Looking forward to the next round? You
Oh
two?
yeah, definitely. I mean, spoiler is a massive route choice. And I feel like routing is one of my stronger side of the play. My execution is a little bit weird sometimes. But overall it's decent enough. But where did you get red mail actually?
It's top 4 of Gan's Tower.
I didn't even pick up that. Well done.
Yeah. Also, we should probably divulge where that 4th sword is, because neither of you were going to get that.
Oh yeah, never going to go out of the way to GT to get that sword.
Yeah, if you thought the boots were out of the way here, chat, for all the way in Dark Vision Room, just a little bit further down the hallway over in the Firebar Room was the 4th sword. Yeah, no, they weren't going to get that. Not unless they somehow skipped. Well, actually, Zelda, you might have done it if you actually decided to skip out and go into Hookshot Cave. But you needed the slippers anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because of the Hylia Island quake. Like I said, I know it's sequence breakable without boots. I just honestly don't know how to do it very well.
Yeah. And quite honestly, any sort of like Ancilla thing is still foreign to me, so I wouldn't be able to do it anyway.
I don't think you can do it without boots in a proper way.
You can do it by like essentially bomb jumping and wriggling. You can't do splash deletion because you can't mirror while you're in a swimming state. So you have to find a way to essentially like wriggle your way over there to the hole, like to the land, and it's really awkward and really annoying. And I've never practiced it really. I've just seen it done.
Can you ferry your revive to it? I don't know where the bug net was for this seed anyway, but just out of curiosity.
Well,
yeah,
I
I've tried.
Spoilers open, so I can just give it a quick look.
You even if you splash elite and fear revive, you will die instantly.
Actually, the bug net was actually fairly. It was slightly out of the way, but not very. It was actually in Meyer's shed, on the left chest.
Oh.
Yeah, but
So could have got that, but the powder I think was actually in a rough spot. Let me double check that one. Yeah,
So
powder was in Skullwood. You weren't getting that.
I assume you did Thieves Down the first loop around then.
Second
Yes.
time actually.
Well, yeah. When I activated the flute is when I did Thieves Town. I just went ahead because I didn't have a sword or anything, so I couldn't really go in immediately. And then Samaria on Stumpy, I would have had to backtrack. So I just did it after Hookshot Cave activated the flute.
Yeah, because I went in there, but I didn't do it that time. I went all the way down to Hype Cave, and then I... Wait. Where's my notes? Yeah, I went from the mountain into Village of Outcasts, Stumpy Hype Cave, and then I went Hookshot Cave and Pyramid and did Pod before I went Thieves Down.
Well, GGCU once again, and you two. Hopefully your next game is going to be a win for both of you, so you guys can maybe rematch again here in the playoffs. We'll see.
It's going to be interesting. Because I didn't really want to go to Cape, to Uncle, because it would make Vitreous viable much easier with the Cape compared to the Silvers, but I didn't want to go Ice Palace before picking up my hammer either, and I didn't want to go all the way up to Uncle just to get a Cape.
Alright, folks, so we have a few more matches in the schedule for you, of course. And let me just refresh here. Going on right now, about 40 minutes in, we have Christos Owen versus the Daddy Gamers over on SpeedGaming. Oh no, that's tomorrow in the morning. My mistake. I misread this. We do have a match that was happening right now. It's probably still in progress, if not already close to being done. It's Dr. Barthez versus Julo Ninja on SpeedGaming 5. Tomorrow is Christos Owen for the Daddy Gamers. That's an early bird match, so that's 6:45 a.m. The next match that's in the afternoon tomorrow is Geardo versus Mughal at 4:15, along with Freddy versus Sue at 4:15 as well. And of course, make sure to follow our two runners here for putting on excellent races for us today. And of course, make sure to follow SpeedGaming and SpeedGaming 2 through 6 so you don't miss any racing action, not just the Spoiler Log Tournament. Also, make sure to follow my co-commentator Mercer, who was an excellent Kodum, thanks for working with me here. And of course, our tracker was Dark Gentleman as well. Make sure to follow him as well. And you can drop me a follow too. I have been Wolfling070. I think I messed up my own words outro there. But from all of us here at the Spoiler Log Tournament, we shall see you all next time. And thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone.